So, Wade Lightheart, Bioptimizers, and a friend of the show. Let me set the stage, and this should apply to everybody. It could be you walking in to talk to the boss about a raise. It could be you sitting the family down to say we're moving. It could be going to a loved one and saying, hey, I did read the medical reports, you are dying. I mean, these things happen. It could be a conversation with someone you've known, and hey, you know what, have you ever thought about being more than friends? And it could be all these things. Here's my situation I want to have your help with. I will be in, I think it's called Tejano, California. There's no doubt I'm not going to get any sleep before this event. I'm not going to kid myself. You said don't live in delusion. I'm going to be nervous the whole stinking night. I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. I'm going to take my mushroom breakthrough. I'm going to have my caffeine. I'm going to have my supplements. I'm going to get onto a campus with most guys 22 to 24 years of age in the Navy, intending to be Navy SEALs. At 6 a.m., they're going to put us into a courtyard, and this session is going to begin. You know what freaks me out the most? Walking into the parking lot. Literally parking the rental car or taking an Uber, because I'm not allowed to drive away. I'll be an Uber. Walking into the parking lot. And you know what really freaks me out, Wade? Is all these young guys looking and going, oh, look at the old dude. Look at the guy who thinks he's going to get this done. And then it's that moment where Mark Divine, the head coach, starts us out. And I know that the first 8 hours are about getting the people who are easy drops to drop. I know it. I get it. And yet still in my gut, and I'm trying to transfer it into excitement, Wade. I'm trying to do that thing, that neuro-linguistic programming to make it excitement. Help me with this. You have had to walk on stages and pose against the world's greatest all-natural bodybuilders. Just talk me through that moment. Prep me for this.
Well, I think the first step to go into any event that you haven't done before is, number one, to do the preparation beforehand so you're well prepared.
Yep.
In other words, you've done the training, you've probably got some sort of expert to kind of bring you up to speed. So don't think that you should go, like, I think the dumbest thing that you could do is to go in blind and say, yeah, let's just wing this and go for it. Because what happens is when you get exposed, you can't lean back on all of those experiential trainings, the days, the hours in the gym, the sessions with your coach, the preparation that you've done, whether that's training or lifting or, so every time I went into a competition and, you're standing on stage in front of the most critical, crowd you could possibly have with bright lights that are designed to show every single flaw inside your body is the sport of bodybuilding. It's the craziest sport. And there's no money in it either. It's not like if you're an okay baseball player, you're a millionaire. You're a great bodybuilder, you're still broke. So but subjecting that, I can go back to my very first time where I hadn't had that experience. And I remember that feeling coming up, that anxiety as you be walking into the parking lot, that it's just like standing backstage and seeing these other bodybuilders, and I'm going out on stage to lights for my first posing in the crowd, and my friends are going to be there, and I could get, and I remember that feeling come up. And the key is don't fight it. Allow it to come up. Allow it to rise up within you. Don't suppress it. Okay. Don't try to fight it. Don't even think that it shouldn't be there. This is a heightened sense of awareness. This is your preparation and the opportunity to step forth. And if we go back in time, we have 10,000 generations within our DNA that had to step into uncertainty, to death, to starvation, to mayhem, to travels to unknown parts of the world without compasses, GPSs, internet, to get on a boat. So we are the product of all that. So you can leverage the thousands of generations before you that is in your DNA and said, I honor the ancestors of the past, and I honor the ancestors to come in the future, and I will step forth to pass this genetic lineage on into the future and to honor that from the past, and walk into the fear. Walk into it and surrender into it, because that is what the Lord's Prayer says. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, because thy rod and thy staff comfort me. It is the suffering that comforts me, because if I'm in pain, if I am suffering, and if I am nervous, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Right.
Embrace it, walk through it. Don't think that you shouldn't feel that. Everybody feels it. But eventually, what separates the people who thrive in those environments is they recognize that those feelings and those senses are normal. And I can recall a particular interview, I think, where Jocko Willink captured this. And he talked about they'd be going on a mission and they'd have the new guy with them. And just to give you an explanation, on a Navy SEAL mission, there's about 1,000 personal checks that you have to do. Everything from tying, like taping your bootlaces to making sure you're like, as a professional, that all those guys are counting, because one screw up and people are dead.
Yep.
Like, this is the highest level of consequence to a tiny thing being at a place.
Yep.
Then there's about 1,000 things that are mission specific that they have to check. And they're going into, where they could lose their lives in that moment, or the lives of their friends. And what he said was, you see the new guy and he's nervous and everything. And the guys like, they're trying to suppress the nervousness around the guys. And he says to him, he says like, hey, it's normal to feel nervous. Eventually you just get used to it and know that it's part of the deal.
Love it. Love it.
And eventually, what I've come to learn in my own experience by exposing myself to those situations over and over and over and over again, I don't even call it fear. I call it a heightened sense of awareness. And that adrenaline and that anxiety that's my body preparing to be at its absolute best, to rise up to the challenge. And I've failed many times, but I never failed in a way that I cowered out. I did my best in that moment and I gave my best, and sometimes it's not enough, but that's okay, because I found my limit today.
Love it.
And from that, I can build from it.